Good morning from Lausanne. What a beautiful morning. Today we're gonna tackle stage 25, which begins right here. Last night I stayed in the Pink Hotel, the Hotel de Port. And this is, the way up to the main part of Lausanne. I'll get some film on Lausanne for you to see. It's a pretty awesome city. But in the meantime, we've got sunrise over Lake Geneva. So today we're going to be hiking. It's a short hike. It's along the lakefront the whole way. 13 kilometers, should be about 3 hours from Lausanne to the port town of Morges. We'll do another 20-kilometer day, which will include half of 26 and the beginning of 27, which is a 30-kilometer stage. So 27 is a big guy, and that I'm planning now so that I can cut down on that one. This is the port of Lausanne. Ochi is the port name, as you just heard. And this guy's going out. So we'll go on over here. This is a great place. Just come and eat. By the way, next to the hotel, there's a crepe restaurant. I've eaten there. It's pretty nice. Take a look at your Google restaurant search so you can get an idea. Also, what I didn't do last night when I came into town, and I should have, was a Google search for grocery, as I would have been smart to have started that way. We are about half hour into it, maybe a little less, and we're reaching kind of the outskirts of Lausanne. We're at the Lausanne Theater along the lake. The path, if you watch the slow motion version, you'll see me kind of dancing around trying to figure out which way to go, and that's because yeah, I'm in the way of the mailman. And now we're back on the lakefront, a quiet area. I'm sure it's not so quiet in the summer. So this is a pretty cool point here. This is a big crew. We saw somebody crewing yesterday. Oof, man, there's a lot of flies. Anyway, so we saw people crewing yesterday, and this is where they must have come out of. You can see the rest of our walk right along the lakefront. It's pretty good. Geneva, I'm just taking in the sights. I mean, the far mountains back there, that's where Montreux is. That's where we started yesterday, segment 24 in Vevey. Can't see the Vevey side of it all. And those far mountains over here, not the ones in front, but the ones that are just barely visible, that's France. We are close. This is a really beautiful area here. Saint Sulpice. I'm not saying that correctly, but I just came off the beach where I was talking about Lake Geneva and comparing it to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. I know it's a tough comparison. This little community, though, is really extraordinary. I'm having flashbacks of my trip to Germany for kayaking. We're in northern Germany, north of Berlin, so it was originally East Germany, at least last century. And the communities were very tight, small, very tight, right along the water. I'm sure there's 100 places in the world that are like that, but that's the feeling I'm getting here. Wow, this is one of the most beautiful parks I've seen here in this country. Just a small little piece of grass. Saint Sulpice. I'm gonna guess at that name. You can see section 24 on the left side, those side of that mountain. And then Lausanne, it's going to be right back here where those three towers are. There's kind of a tower sticking up, and oh man, I hope it comes through in the film. Behind this front hill, behind Lausanne, there are the high Alps that are behind Montreux, and separating the Gruyere region we came over, and they just look so beautiful. Wow, that is pretty nice. You can come here by boat, you don't need to walk. This is a dock. And looks like the original castle is here and looking well. It's difficult for me to express how comfortable and calming this section is. The smell is just so crisp and clear. The neighborhoods are immaculate. It feels safe, it feels inviting, despite the walls. This is definitely one of my favorite parts of the trail. And you know, like so many different sections of this trail, the Swiss Alpine Panorama Trail, you know, I start off and I'm like, it's gonna be a breeze, nothing huge to expect here. And I'm overwhelmed by how much happens. And in this case, it's really, it's an emotional calmness. Take a day to the beach here. Certainly, the cities that bookend this hike are going to be great, or are great, but this is the highlight for me. I mentioned this hike reminded me a lot of the kayaking trip in Germany, and this is pretty close to the feel here. You got, you know, water coming in, boats everywhere, little imbus, little food stand, and then you make it out to the bigger lake. I'm about an hour away from Morges. Which I assume is where those tall buildings are over there. Okay, so from there, trail goes inland. So that's the end of stage 25. Again, that's about an hour from now. Then, if I remember correctly, 26 goes up into the meadows, the higher altitude meadows, for a little bit, still carving along the crescent of Lake Geneva. So we're entering Morges, and I'll have more film as we get into Old Town. It's quite a history here, but this is just a nice entrance to town. I got 3 hours, 8 miles, not so bad. So we're going to come to the conclusion of section 25. It's been a great walk. Boy, it's hard to see where we came from. I don't know the story on that boat. I'll have to put that in the description. We'll get some information on that. We're coming in closer to the cathedral. Last bit of water shots here for section 25. Beautiful flowers. All right, good morning. Here we are in Morges, and this is the main Catholic church. This town has a crazy history. It goes back thousands of years. They found pylons a couple thousand years ago. Of course, it was had Roman influence, but more recently, this has really been a dominant power center for the region. And Most of that comes from the, well, a lot of it comes from everything, but what I want to talk about is the train. The first train in the area came in here from a town I can't pronounce, and that created a quick influx of development, and then they made a line from here to Lausanne, and then a line from here to Geneva. So the ongoing development of the train really cemented this area as a power center for the region. And of course you can see from the buildings, it's a pretty old town. It's lunchtime here and it just smells fantastic. So I'm gonna do something I don't normally do, which is stay around here. Center of town, we got a band. Wow. So I was saying, I'm gonna stick around here and get some food. This is quite a happening time. Well, I had a very nice crepe for lunch, and I will tell you, really nice service. It was very nice, and it is the Tendance Terrier. Tendance Terrier. Anyway, it's the creperie that's right kind of in the middle of Main Street here. The band keeps moving down. Of course, they're looking for some change. And you know, these towns, each one is just so gorgeous. Look at this. This is the decoration around the fountain. All right, so I'm going to move on to section 26. Thanks for tuning in.